There we are. Okay, folks. So good to be live. Let's play some music. Let's record a podcast. This should be fun. Here we go. There we are. It's live Thursday evening on the interwebs. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. Did you know this is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest? We'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So while you're checking your lottery tickets, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
That's right. That means it's time to bring in our recently showered monkey. Some say he smells like an ammo can, and others say, well, his immune system is so advanced it allows him to mutate viruses to his benefit. All we know is he's called Len Monkey.
Hey guys, and more importantly, we have a special guest tonight. We want to welcome Taz427 to the show.
Well, thanks everyone for having me on the show, but I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, let's have a good time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. And we also want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Limax, Team Squirrel, and WorldCaching.com. Now, folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. Now, for tonight's show, we're going to talk about the spectacular APE event, the Going Ape event up in Washington. But before we get started, geocaching.com has spent minutes updating your profile page when you weren't looking, so you might want to go check it. But while you're checking things, also remember that Caching in the Northwest wants to help you by beautifying your geocaching.com profile by allowing you to add a glow badge to your profile page. All you have to do is submit a geocaching log of the week.
That's right. So whether you read it or you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com. You know what? You can always call into 253-693-TFTC or use that handy voicemail tool right there on the website and show us how you glow.
It is a handy tool. You should go use it. UDAC submitted a glow this week for the event cache WWFM, Wet and Wild Water War. And, excuse me, this log reads, it was a gray day in the hills of Cheviot, a quiet day for a battle. The war started off peacefully with the signing of the logbook as we waited for the other soldiers of our section. When it became evident that they were missing movement, Tropical Joe, we commenced without them. As Cat Q2U put on her combat uniform, I threw the first bomb and the firefight began. Fortunately, our supply runners, Sunflower 96 and DNDCP, made early ammo drops because we quickly ran out of ammo. As I reloaded, I was hit on all sides by enemy and friendly fire. In less than 15 minutes, the expected length of the battle, soldiers from both sides were drenched, a ceasefire was called, and Sunflower 96, also the president of the event, proclaimed the end of the war. During the peace treaty ceremony, we settled existing debts via a raffle and distribution of path tags and instructions for WWFM and #GeoChallenge benefits as war veterans. We took a photo commemorating the end of the war and left the battlefield. For now. Thank you, Sunflower 96. It was an honor to fight beside you.
How very nice. So, that's, a very well-written log. You know it was a water balloon fight, but it sounds like a real war.
Yeah.
Nice. You have the same supply problems that you have in war. You've got to get ammo to your frontline troops to continue the battle, whether it be bullets or balloons. Make it balloons.
Make it balloons.
Let's all just fight water balloon battles from now on. It doesn't work that way. Hey,
No.
Well, hey, I was just going to say, you keep that up, pretty soon North Korea is going to have a water balloon that can hit Guam.
oh. Yeah, but see, Guam's surrounded by water. How much is it really going to hurt?
Just aim all the water balloons at the wildfires in BC.
Ooh,
Ooh,
there we
not a
go.
bad idea.
Let's go up there and have a water balloon fight. We'll make it an event. No, that probably won't help. If there's a milestone cache, let me get back to the podcast. If there's a milestone cache you're celebrating, why not call it in to 253-693-TFTC and share it with the entire Northwest community? You can also, as I said earlier, and I say every episode, use that voicemail tool on the website. Now, we have some feedback this week. I know.
Really?
I know. It's just stay in your seats. This one comes from IFA Ref. Let me go ahead and play it.
Hey guys, no, this is a little bit late, but since I promised Chris and with them that I'd get this on, I am finally getting around to calling. Hey, it's IFA Ref from Salem, Oregon. Just wanted to check in after a busy caching summer, just to let you know that in addition to expanding my north, south, east, and west boundaries this summer for the second year in a row, and getting new states and a new farthest cache and all of that. I had the honor of wrapping up my summer by meeting you guys at the APE event, which was my 1400th cache find on the APE cache. So 3 new icons there, and the APE find for the milestone. But the day was made all the more special by meeting you guys. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and hope all is well. Bye.
Well, that's really nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, we met a lot of great people this weekend.
Oh, man, so many people there. It was a very well-attended event.
Yeah, I think that's the most attended that I've been to of the APE events that I've been to. So I went in 2012 and 14, and of course this year.
Nice.
Good deal. Well, August is the month of the ape, is it not? And we're having an ape-themed giveaway here for the month of August. We need you to call in your best DNF story for 2 entries. Call in, leave it in your own voice. You'll get 2 entries. I think maybe you'll even do that with the voicemail tools.
Oh, definitely.
The idea
as long as
is
it's your voice. However,
yeah, it is your voice.
now,
Yeah, you could email it too. You know, we'll accept that. But you only get 1 entry, so why do that? Call us, 253-693-TFTC. Do it. Do it today.
do it now.
Well, not right now.
Double your chances, like double mint gum. Hey,
Hey,
we got it. Oh, I don't know what Land Monkey's doing. I don't want to know. Okay. Hey, we got a call in from. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I'm on the road right now, I'm just using my Microsoft Surface to join the show, which is why no microphone, no headphones. Apologize for the audio quality, but that means I'm doing touchscreen, which means my finger is going right in front of the camera when I go to change screens.
but it's good that you brought the important podcasting tools like the ball cap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, in the computer. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. But you can't
Well, the
podcast
computer's a
without the
good
ball
tool
cap.
for making sure you have a backup of those GPX files. That's what that's for.
Oh, there you go.
Anyways. But
Okay.
yeah, you know what? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So, August, we want your DNF stories. In fact, Limax called one in, and we want to share it with you.
Was out doing my annual birthday cash run. This year, I was in Pleasanton Ridge. I almost didn't go after this one since it was a bit further south than I had planned to go, but I figured that since I was here, I should really try to go after the cache. It turns out that was a bad idea. I was able to get to GZ easily enough, but I had trouble finding anything that resembled a cache. So I started walking parallel to GZ while looking up, and splorch, I managed to step in a fresh cow pie. That didn't happen my spirits. I kept on going down further and was still unable to spot anything, so I started making my way back. Splorch. I stepped in the same cow pie. I was getting a bit frustrated at this point, so I set down my pack and reached in for my flashlight. It was supposed to be luminous after all. I searched all around with it and was checking some of the higher branches and splorch. My feet found the same cow pie. I just rolled my eyes at that point. How could I keep forgetting that it was there? Putting that thought aside, I continued looking around for the cache. I started checking further out into the field for the cache and started turning over logs, maybe thinking it was there. So then I texted a friend who had found it before, and while I was waiting for him to get back to me, I paced some and splorch. I found the cow pie again. This point, I was thinking it was jumping into my path because it just liked to torment me. Turns out that my friend couldn't remember where the hide too well, and so I was back to searching again. I started checking some of the holes and crevices, seeing if I could spot anything at all. And then I walked parallel to the tree again, looking up, and splorch. Yep, I found the cow pie again. I decided then to text another friend who I know keeps pretty good notes of his finds to see if there's any way I'm missing this cache. Turns out he'd found the cache with the group and didn't know where it was hidden. So I decided to take one more look around. Splorch. Okay, I'm done. I called it and decided that I would try to find this cache another day, preferably sometime when the cows hadn't visited recently.
Wow.
Wow. Now that's a DNF story.
Seriously, there's one cow pie. I think there weren't more.
Wow. And the word of the show?
Splorch.
Splorch. Oh, hey, while you guys are in the chat, go ahead and spell splorch for me.
There you go. I'll keep them busy.
Okay. Oh man,
Right.
Limax, I'm sorry you didn't find the cache, but we're all
But thank you for sending the audio.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was definitely worthwhile sending. Thank you for that, Limax.
So
Hey,
Limax, 2 entries into the contest.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could just change the rules dynamically, I'd give 3 entries for that story. But the rules are the rules.
One
That's
free.
six. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's not funny.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, speaking
I
of things
like
that are
the-
funny,
Episode
Yeah.
213 is sponsored by Splorch.
splurge. There you go. Speaking of things that aren't funny, though, our thoughts and prayers do continue to be with those who are affected by and fighting the wildfires in the Northwest. We know in BC we're not alone. That all the Northwest is struggling with the forest fires again this year. So just reminder, if there's ways that you can help out to let people know. I heard, just a quick note, at the Going Ape event, that for the folks who managed the Gold Country Geo Tour, that there is going to be some volunteer efforts put together later this year to help replace a lot of the lost caches, etc., that have been impacted. Obviously, the most important thing is the folks who live up there getting back into their homes. If they've lost their homes, dealing with that situation, of course. But that's the first priority. Once that's settled, we'll hear and we'll share the news on this show about what folks can do to help get the Gold Country Geo Tour back up to full speed.
Nice. Now, thank you, Land Monkey, for that. We want to get those Gold Country caches and the Geo Tour back up. It's a great Geo Tour to do. It's huge. So it's going to take you more than a weekend to get it done. Well, I don't know. Some people could do it in a weekend. But speaking of things that take you a while, did you all get your Mary Hyde secret message this last week? The Lost Treasure souvenir. For the efforts, you've earned 1 free tracking code.
Ooh.
I thought that was a great idea.
To be delivered sometime between now and Christmas.
I got mine in an email.
Thinking about having GeoProxy make me a tag.
Oh, there you go. That's a great way to do it. I'm working on printing up a 3D name tag with the track.
Oh, that'll work.
See if see how that works. But different ideas. Just you can use it on a Sharpie on your car, right there on the paint.
Sure.
And make it attractive.
Yeah.
There you go, Laura.
Just etch it in with the key.
You could do it on a rental car too. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, scratch it in with a key. Is that what you said?
Go wrong.
Oh.
Mrs. Land Monkey said no.
Oh. Just no.
Just no.
Well,
Whatever you guys are talking about, no.
I'd rather have her say no than splurge.
Oh, hey, some more news. And this news doesn't cost you anything. There are 3 more Washington State Park free days coming up in 2017. September 30th, that's a Saturday, great day to go out for National Public Lands Day. November 11th, again a Saturday, for Veterans Day. And November 24th is the Autumn Free Day. You should all go out and free autumn on November 24th. We should be autumn free.
Should appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's on a Friday, so.
It's a great day to have it. That's my birthday.
Hey, there you go.
Well, soon to be happy birthday. Come on back to Washington. I'll get you into a state park for free.
There you go.
Okay.
Just, as my gift to you.
Oh, thank you very much.
I spared no expense.
I can verify that.
Oh, I spent no expense.
Hey, the show notes say bounce, bounce, so I'm going to bounce.
That's the name of the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Bounce Bounce, who's the CEO of the Holiday Travel Bug Hotel. It's GC5 DHPQ. We found that back in May. It's a great travel bug hotel.
Well, it's more than GC5.
Yep.
GC5 DHPQ. Did I not say that?
No, he has multiple bounce travel bug hotels.
Oh, okay. Well, we found this one in May, and the CEO wrote us a note by email and says, I'm not sure if this is a milestone, and I say it is. I have a cache that just hit 150 favorite points. So I think that's a milestone-worthy thing.
Definitely is. And I can tell you that, that earns you something with geocaching.com in the previous week. But that's, beside the point. Oh, hey, we got more feedback. Now, you remember, I want to say it was just an episode ago. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago. Team Finn was asking some questions online. Well, in fact, let me just read what he wrote. Last week on the show, I asked questions about making a canvas with the Geo logo on it. The commenters on the live show were very helpful, but a couple of days later, I received a message from a local community member inquiring about my canvas. We talked for a little bit, and now we're in the process of figuring out the logistics of making this art. The reason I'm sending this message is because I want you to know that your show really brings the community closer. Thanks for a great podcast.
Nice.
And
That's awesome.
That's something we offer for free. Just like entrance into state parks on certain days, we offer this community to you at no charge.
Sorry, what?
Except in Canada and for the land monkeys. Oh, did I forget the disclaimers?
No, I'm joking around, but in all seriousness, I love hearing stories. Not even specifically about our podcast, but that's awesome. That's great feedback. But I love hearing stories about how geocachers get together on projects and do neat, cool stuff together.
Exactly. Well, there was some big news from Geocaching HQ this week. They're thrilled to announce the release of Virtual Rewards, a project to reward some of geocaching's great contributors while also introducing a limited number of new virtual caches for the enjoyment of the entire geocaching community. Starting today, approximately 4,000 geocachers in 63 countries around the world will receive emails, I wasn't one of those, with information about their virtual reward. This group is made up largely of the top 1% of quality cache hiders from countries with at least 100 hiders. We created an algorithm to identify these people based on overall cache quality and cache health. Active community volunteers are also receiving a virtual reward as a thank you for giving their time and talent to support the geocaching community. Those selected for a virtual reward will have 1 year to submit a virtual cache for publication. You may see new virtuals published in the next few days, next several months from now. New caches resulting from the virtual rewards must comply with specific guidelines, so it could take some time for the cache listings to work through the review process. We expect this news is exciting to many in the community, but it will also raise many questions. We'll try to answer a few of the most obvious questions, and they've also released an episode of the Inside Geocaching HQ podcast where you can hear even more information.
I would suggest it is going to be exciting news for about 4,000 geocachers, maybe.
That's about right.
About that. And comments in the chat said 3M's in a Rose mentions that Braylang, who's not here in the chat tonight, our research department, did mention on Facebook he received one of the 4,000 virtual rewards. So, congratulations to our own research department.
That's awesome. So I wonder if that's for community volunteer work?
Could be.
Have to be, yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be. Yes, it has to be. Why else would he get it? No, of course. So yeah, that's exciting.
Oh, it's nice to know one of the people then.
That means there's going to be one that's relatively close to us, right?
Sure, yeah.
When it eventually comes up.
And when the land monkeys get home, there's probably a virtual in their mailbox at home. It's a physical virtual.
How would you know?
I don't know.
It's virtually there.
It's hard to say. Well, hey, enough about virtuals. Let's go back to, real things like events and apes and all that kind of stuff. We had a ape event here recently, very recently. And all of us got together at the same time and in the same place, and it was a whole heck of a lot of fun. And while we was there, us three hosts, Taz, 427, you came over to our booth, and that was awesome. And we want to welcome you to our podcast. It's the first time on our show, but you're an experienced show host podcast of your own.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for having me on the show, and I also definitely wanted to stop by the booth and say hello to my fellow podcasters. And we've had Land Monkey on our show in the past and stuff. Also I've listened to a lot of shows with Daryl on it in the past, and thanks for having me. Sorry, Chris, not Daryl. Both Chris and Daryl on another show. So,
getting confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good cop, bad cop. What can you say?
You can't. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I can't figure out who I am anymore either. But you are a fellow podcaster, and that's the main reason I wanted you on the show. Would you tell our faithful listeners where they can find you each and every week?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at Taz427 and on Facebook at Chad Courtney Taz427. So those are my two main places for social media.
Nice.
Cool. Now, when you came over to the booth, we chatted for a little bit, and I thought you might have a pretty good perspective on this APE event that we had and general Northwest geocaching. Mm-hmm. Now, you had already mentioned earlier, this is not your first time in the Great Pacific Northwest.
That's correct. Yeah, I was there in 2012 and 2014, and did a lot of caching out there. Probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 or 300 caches in the Washington and Oregon area. So a lot of experience there. And third time through the tunnel, I didn't do GCD for a third time. That one's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that hike up again.
Once
Sorry.
is enough.
Well, once is enough. Twice was one time too many, and three times is like, yeah, that's like going squatch for 6 times in a row.
Nice. So let's have so your third going ape, and I really enjoy walking through that tunnel. Now we've biked it as well, but I think that tunnel really adds. I mean, it's for me, it's one of the main draws. Yeah, there's some caches there, but how often do you get to go through a 2.25 mile tunnel? I mean, that's just cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I would encourage anyone who has done it with the crowd to do it without the crowd as well. In 2014, we got there at 8:20 a.m., so there was nobody in the tunnel, and it's a bit different experience going through there, pretty solo. You turn out the flashlights, you can't see your hand in front of your face.
No, it's absolutely dark. And there is a slight turn in the tunnel. So there's a point where, you can't see the light in front of you. And
exactly. You might have a pinprick down at the other end of the tunnel, and then you look behind you in that curve. You can't see that. You can't see the light from the other way.
Yeah. In the chat, Team Finn says it was cool without the crowd. We did it early in the morning with nobody else there. So yeah, that's quite a little journey.
Oh yeah.
Now I think you might have found more caches in Washington and Oregon than I have. Wow. And that's impressive. Okay. Maybe not, but definitely more than Land Monkey. Oh wait.
I probably don't have that many, but 3 trips, when spending 4 or 5 days out there at a time, you pile up the caches, because when you're going on one of those trips, that's all you're focused on.
Exactly. So the WSGA, the Washington State Geocaching Association, and Andrew RJ, who's the current president, I think really knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah, they did an awesome job. Even with the road construction that was out there, they gave us plenty of warning, so we were able to avoid some of it on the early events, and then it was actually pretty smooth going on the day of the event itself. I think they did a great job with the swag. So that was the best swag that I've seen at any event, in my opinion. So,
well, WSGA is just what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say acronym, acrostic of swag. Anagram of swag. Thank you. So they have to be doing great swag.
I should know that word. I've got some anagram puzzles out there.
There you go.
If you've never been to the APE event, it's a very low-key mega event. There are no vendors. There are no scheduled activities. It's just geocachers talking with fellow geocachers. And I think that makes it a very unique feel that you're not going to get at other events.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely part of the experience. One of the things I want to say is thank goodness for having early events for handing out the swag that people have purchased as well. I'm not sure if this was the first year they had it or they did it in 2015 or 16 as well. Maybe they did, but having that and not having that stand in line for your swag makes things so much better.
Jesse in the chat told me I misspoke. Yes, Princess Trouble is the president now. Andrew RJ used to be the president. He is now he was in charge of the event. So I apologize.
All right.
So while we were out there, I always do a lot of planning when I go to these things, and some things work out, some things don't work out.
Well,
So one of the things that I plan is doing an icon run. So managed to get 12 icons in a day while out there. So on the day of the event, so had to drive all the way down to Tacoma to get that webcam though, because I had already cleared out the webcams in the area. So there was only one virtual that was left in the area that I hadn't done. Now there's maybe more.
there you go.
but there was only and then the webcam I had, went down to Tacoma for that, but
I
managed to get an event. Yeah, that was fun though. With three of us went together to get that 12 icon day. We tried to make it 13, but the couldn't quite get our CETOs allowed through, because we were trying to put them in parks where, oh, you need this, you need that, and then our time ran out, and it's like, but maybe sometime in the future we'll get a 13 icon day, but I'm thinking that's going to be kind of hard. I've got both APE icons, I've got the headquarter cache. It's not too many icons out there left.
Okay. 12 icons in a day. You got to tell us which ones you did.
We did the event, started out with an event, hit a multi, a letterbox, a puzzle, a virtual, an earth cache, a lab cache, a mega, and the ape cache, then a traditional, a where I go, and a webcam all the way down to Tacoma for the final. And we got it one more cache for the day. We wound up at an event in the beer garden in Seattle.
Nice. Well, after that much caching, you've got to take a break.
Oh yeah, you get thirsty.
Wow. Now, you said something, and I'm not going to let it slide by. You said this was your second ape icon.
Okay, second time that I have visited an ape cache.
Okay.
So I did the ape cache down in Brazil back in March of 2015.
Okay. Wow. How was that?
That was awesome. It was definitely a different experience. You're going through the Atlantic rainforest there in Brazil, and that was just an experience. The park itself was just an experience. So we cached out the park, and then we did some other caches around Brazil, and managed to get a first to find in Brazil as well.
Well, that happens all the time. Wow.
Yep.
How many miles did you have to travel for a first to find? No. Anyway.
Yeah. That's my longest first to find for some reason. I don't know why.
Wow. Impressive. So are you happy that the ape cache came back as an official ape cache with the icon?
I was kind of ho-hum about it at first, and then I realized, everyone deserves a chance. But I do think people should, if they can, take the chance, go down to Brazil. It's an awesome place to visit and get that ape cache as well.
Wow. Now, did you have help when you were in Brazil? Did you contact Junior and have him?
Yeah, we contacted Junior, and so made the arrangements for the staying in the park, and we met up with him, and I put a cache out there as well and gave him some containers so that he can help maintain the caches in the park. And but as far as making it to the ape itself, no, we went solo.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I can't tell you the number of people that I talked to at the event that have done the ape cache in Brazil. And, they came up, now this would be our second ape icon. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that many people had traveled down to Brazil. Yes, we get a little obsessed with our geocaching, but
we'll see the people that are obsessed enough to go down to Brazil are definitely obsessed enough to make it to Seattle.
Yeah.
I think one of those two trips are a little easier than the other.
Yes.
Depends where you live.
True.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I did want to give a shout out to one of the local Seattle cachers, Duma 322. I was talking to her about one of the experience I had in 2014 while up there and getting into the stinging nettles, And she explained to me how using the backside of ferns there is a local remedy, rubbing those on your skin where you get stinging nettles. And the next day, got into some more stinging nettles, and I wound up using that procedure, and it worked.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Land Monkey?
No, that's a new one on me. I'm gonna try it probably next time I'm back home caching, because I'm always hitting those nettles.
Now, personally, stinging nettles don't bother me all that much. I get a little tingling sensation for a couple of minutes, and then it passes. So I don't know. But yeah, backside of ferns. There's that. I want to say it's a fungus, but it's not. There's that
the spores.
substance. Spores. There you go, on the backside of the fungus. Yeah.
Mm.
Jesse says it works like a charm. So, or a banana slug.
Never rubbed a nettle on a banana slug, but I'm gonna have to try that next time I see one.
No, you rub the banana slug on the fern.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can see how that would work, because the slugs actually have the slime on their skin as a numbing agent.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm still not going to try it. I'll do a
So
fern.
don't lick them, or you'll lose your sense of taste for a while.
Your tongue.
Yeah, I'll try to avoid licking banana slugs.
Yeah. You got numb tongue?
Oh. See, I'm not unusual. Tracy from World Caching says the same way. Stinging nettles just gives me a tingle for a few minutes.
That may be. You may have that in common. You are unusual.
Yeah.
There are other things that make it unusual, but
I was tingling on the flight all the way back from Seattle to Houston at that time. So, and that's after taking some medical tape, pulling them out, and taking Benadryl spray and popping a Benadryl pill.
You should have taken ferns with you.
Hey, well, at the time I didn't know, but I know now.
Oh, Jesse says exactly. It's a natural form of Novocaine. I think we're back to the banana slugs.
Yeah.
If you kiss one, your lips will go numb.
Okay.
Land Monkey?
I want to know how Jesse knows that.
I was going to say, Land Monkey, you try it. We'll videotape you, see what happens. Then make you drink some water. Oh, okay. Now, hey. I'm getting back to the main topic here of the event. As the event was starting to close, I caught up with Mountain Bike for his perspective of this event. You know, he's a pretty iconic NorthWest cacher, if you didn't know that. So let me play some audio of Mountain Bike.
I am at the incredible Going Ape 2017 event, and here with, well, we need to say the father of geocoins, the one, the only Mountain Bike.
Hey, it is me.
Now, I mean, the reason this event is big every year is being able to walk through the tunnel. You know, going to, in the past, the tribute cache, but this year, it's different.
Yeah, I think we have, well, about 5 years of newer cachers who have not had the chance to get an ape cache now have an opportunity to come to the event, attend, and see, log the, get that icon, I guess.
Get
I'll
that
put it
icon,
that way.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
you
an
can still get
iconic
it.
type of day.
Oh, yeah. I see what you did there.
Now, I have already found the cache, but I still walk through the tunnel, you know, just to pay my tribute to the recovery. And very well placed, and it looks like it'll be there for the long haul.
I hope so. I had a lot of good help, and we many thanks to the Washington State Parks, and specifically Rick Oakley, Ranger Rick Oakley. With them, he helped us. Brian and I and a couple of the people who were on the recovery of the cache met up here a few weeks ago, went through with the ranger and scoped out the area, tried to figure out how we wanted to do it. And then earlier this week came back with a larger group. And again, the ranger was there in his work overalls, he was ready to work with us. He had his truck with a big water reservoir in the back for pouring concrete. We got some secured the container secured in there with some concrete but we made sure to make it look natural. I don't think you can tell that it's not just a container put in some rocks. So hopefully that will prevent theft. I do still worry about vandalism, but
Yes.
you know, at some point you gotta let it be. Yeah, you know, do what you can and let things fall as they may. So
That's right.
We'll see.
Now, I didn't know about the concrete. I couldn't see it. So, you know, it looked very much like it has in the past. So very good job on camouflaging that enough that it's secure yet looks natural, as you said.
Yeah, we had a concrete specialist,
Ooh.
Sven from Groundspeak. he just anyone, if you have concrete work that needs to be done, contact Sven at Groundspeak.
I'll make sure to put his address in the show notes.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I think he's going to love that I'm bringing him all this new business.
Exactly.
So he was up there helping out. He was our mixer and did most of the pouring, in fact, too. But we had a number of people. We had our own little mega out there, I think, for getting it in place and getting the rocks in and making it look natural and you know, the state parks wanted to make sure that it didn't detract from the area. So that was important to us, is to make it. You know, if you're not a geocacher, you'll still ride right by there and have no idea.
Exactly.
So, except for all the thousands of people around it.
Exactly. Now, the state parks have no problem with the geocache being there.
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, they have gone over and beyond to help us with things. And the ranger, Rick Oakley, even returned to the cache after we replaced it to make some final touch-ups on some things. That's how involved he was. He's just been made it so helpful. I can't say thanks enough. I also want to say, obviously, a huge thanks to the guys who organized and recovered the cache. Shadow and his team, Antoine, there are a number of them, and if I try to list them all off, I won't remember them all. But then also to Hypnopedia, who had the tribute cache there all this time, and he worked with us to figure out when we should make the change. He was up there helping us get this one installed and everything. He's been awesome too. He had some great ideas, and so God, it's just, you know, it was, you know, that sense of community that I think geocaching is all about just really came out in this whole I don't know what you would call it,
endeavor.
process. Yeah, the whole endeavor. So
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it is something for a cache owner who has a cache with I don't know how many favorite points on it to say, you know what, I am willing to give up the spot for, you know, another cache to come in.
Yeah,
that's
I mean
that's big of him.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, it was very big of him. So really good guy. Everyone involved has just been amazing.
Yeah.
So
and we couldn't have had a more beautiful day.
No, it started off nice and cool,
mm-hmm.
and it has cleared out, maybe a little breezy. Darn it!
Well, we can't have everything.
Right.
You know, the breezy allowed the clouds to clear this morning, so
yep.
so that we could have a little sunshine.
Yep. No, this has been great. So yeah, when you can see the mountains, it's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Just saw a banner not too long ago that says "Live like the mountain is out."
Oh, that's a good one.
Isn't that a good one?
People in Seattle know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mountain Bike, for taking this time. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very well done, sir.
There you go, Mountain Bike.
And I think we speak for all of us when we say, yay, Sven.
Yeah. Go, Sven. If you need concrete work done, contact Sven at geocaching.com.
Does he travel?
I'm sure he would. It's, you know, part of a service that he offers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The great traveling Sven. Oh, that was a good interview. And if you are a sharp-eared listener, like Vulcans would be sharp-eared, right? You probably heard Broncos fan for life in the background there. Oh, let's see. IHAM says the caching in the NorthWest tent tried to blow away while part of the crew was in the tunnel. I didn't actually view it, but apparently the tent that we had was very aerodynamic.
We survived.
Thank you for how you say holding down the fort. You actually held down the tent.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
It's a very rocky ground there, and spikes don't have enough to grip into.
Yeah.
So there we have it. Contact Sven for your concrete work. Maybe we can get him to sponsor the show.
Sven's Lackey Concrete Service.
I like it. That's Sven the Concrete Lackey.
That's right.
Make your mobile cache containers by Sven.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay. You know what, though? I wasn't there when you did the interview with Mountain Bike, and so thank you, A, thank you for doing that. B, I had no idea that there was actually concrete in there. I did see some of the steel pieces, and when you walk up, the pile of, the old stump and the pile of rocks and such, almost look exactly the same as I remember them the last time I was there, but they had added in a few pieces of old rusted steel that kind of just really looked like it belonged there. And I'm sure they found it somewhere else on the mountain, old train parts. But you couldn't even tell that there was concrete work in there. So well done job.
Exactly.
I didn't even notice the rusted steel until I went back and looked at photos later and on last night's show. And then I was looking just now. I was like, I don't see any of the concretes. Like, that was very well done.
Yeah. I seem to remember not as many rocks there. So I think either some rocks have been added and they've been, stacked up a little better. But yes, you can.
Yeah, I think the container's a little thinner than what the replacement one was. I looked at the photos. That it's a slightly different ammo container with the rounded edges. Okay. So, which is the same. You can definitely tell it's an APE container. It's the same container that they had in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I want to say it's a 20 millimeter ammo can. And it's like 3 feet long. So if you take a trackable and drop it in the bottom, it's almost beyond reach. But they did a great job. Now, the steel that I saw there looked to me like an old piece of railroad track.
Right.
And then there's a chain that's obvious there, but it's, rusted. It looks like it belongs there. That's holding the cache in. So, I don't know how it's concreted in, but I'm glad that it is. And I really hope that this container stays around for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Great event. An iconic NorthWest event, and not just because of the APE icon. But, Limax is back. He didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
So we've just been chatting while he's gone. Now let's get back to the topic of the show. No, we've done that. We've got some great shows coming up for you. Next week, we're going to talk about what you should have in your first aid kit. And maybe it's a chunk of fern and a banana slug.
After tonight, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, just take a banana slug, drop it in a baggie. It's going to be good months down the road when you need it.
And the cow pie scraper.
Cow pie scraper. Wow. Maybe just a pair of shoes. You're just going to leave. Next time you step in it, just leave the shoe in there and change your shoes.
There may be some medicinal value to the cow pies we don't know about.
You never know.
We'll have
you
to
try
find out
first.
if the foot was numb. September 7th, we're going to talk about the upcoming Auburn Geocoin Challenge 2017. September 24th, we're doing a geocaching HQ update, talking about the summer fun that they had. September 21st, we're doing a summer hashtag geocache road trip roundup. So, does a slug in a bag make a splorch sound?
I think it does. Yeah.
Probably.
No, it's not as much fun as 3 dead trolls in a baggie, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Tracy says only when you step on it, Dan. Well, that's some great content, upcoming shows. And I say every Thursday night you should tune on right back in and check those out. But until we meet again on a Thursday night, where can people find out more about you guys? Let's offer our host there, Sir Taz. Where can people find more about you and maybe catch you on another podcast?
You can find me at Twitter at Taz427 or Facebook.com at /Chad Courtney Taz427. And our podcast is the geocachingpodcast.com, which can be found at geocachingpodcast.com, strangely enough.
Awesome.
Huh. How'd you get that website?
I'm not sure where that came from.
Very well, great. And then Land Monkey, who is traveling on the road and grateful for a hotel with a shower. Where could they find you next week? Who knows, right?
I'm not as grateful as Mrs. Land Monkey is that I found a hotel with a shower. But, you know, even when we're on a hashtag geocache road trip, if you want to follow our adventures, follow us on Twitter or Instagram at LandMonkeyGC. Of course, you can also check out our YouTube videos. There will be a new one released later this evening. And that's search YouTube for Land Monkey, and you will find some Land Monkey's geocaching adventures. My friend Wits End, how about you?
Wits End on Twitter, Facebook, the normal places like that. That's about it. or here on a Thursday night, where I join Chris, and you are where, sir?
Well, you know what? Much like you, anywhere you can find Caching NW, that could be Twitter, Facebook, Google+, or a .com. Head on over to cachingnw.com/hosts to read our bios, find all those links we just mentioned, and a few secret ones that we don't tell anybody about.
All right. Well, to bring this episode to a close, we'd like to thank you. Yes, you, all of you, and even you, for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. You know, if you're out there, you can be part of this show. You can give us a call at 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment. Ask us a question. Tell us about that weird dream you had about trying to buy chicken sandwiches with us, except we weren't us. We were Led Zeppelin. And, of course, you can email us at feedback@CachingNW anytime, day or night. Also, your support helps to keep quality shows coming. If you like this show, click the Patreon link. It's over there on the CachingNW.com website. This show, well, it's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2017 by Chris Umfenauer. So hang out and chat with us a while. There's a thing called that thing, yeah.
Oh, that was fun, folks. Now, Taz, I don't know if you're familiar with Caching in the Northwest, but once we finish the regular show, now it's just open. We answer some questions that maybe didn't fit with the regular subject, and gives us a little chance to connect with those who are listening. So we call it a crash and a bang, or
the after show.
There you go. That was unusual. I threw things around my desk here. Tracy from World Caching put in, just as we changed topics, you could order a custom decal for your free pirate trackable from worldcaching.com. Ooh, World Caching.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Three Hams says, not to toot my own horn, and I don't have a horn, I have a bell. But I'm FTL online for the Ape Cache. Managed to sneak in my found it log between between land monkeys. Sorry, I see something with an M and I just between mountain bikes, unarchived log, and enable log. All thanks to having it on my watch list.
Nice. Well done, sir.
Yeah. I put it on my watch list. I wanted to see when they re-enabled it. And I forgot to turn it off later in that day, and I ended up with hundreds of emails.
I wonder why.
I was like, okay, search for Mission 9, delete those.
Yeah.
It was funny when I was chatting with Mountain Bike. He was trying to see what time it was, and he has a smartwatch. And he says his smartwatch has been completely unusable because it keeps popping up emails for the found it logs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, I can't even tell what time it is.
In the chat, Three Hands in a Rose also mentioned shortly after we talked, congratulated Braylang on his accomplishment of getting the virtual. Three Hands said, let's all be sure to log a needs archived on Brylang's new virtual.
Let's have an archive party. Taz, don't ever have an archive party. We're just telling you that right now. It doesn't work well. Well, it does.
Actually, it really depends on your reviewer in your area.
It's true.
Yeah, that was fun. Broncos fan and Team Finn both say Auburn. The Auburn Geocoin Challenge is 9/30, so September 30th. They're having it a little later this year to not coincide with other large events in the area. So we'll have Peach come on and talk about that.
Great event.
Yeah. It is a great event. Oh, IHAM says Monkey Cakes just found an old, as in 10 years ago, thread on the GC forums about using sword ferns to deal with stinging nettles.
That sounds like a constructive topic for the GC forums.
Yes, it does. It's unusual that there is anything constructive and helpful in those forums. I'm assuming it's the 23rd.
The September cash machine, yes.
Oh.
You have to read both messages.
Gotcha.
So confusing. So many rules.
Brylang asks a question and answers it himself. We can't keep up.
No, he asked where, and then he says it's on the 23rd. Finn answered Kelowna.
Oh, Kelowna is in Spain? No.
And IHAM says, in response to our feedback about the GC forums, says it was 10 years ago.
Oh, let's see. Limax says, oh, I missed a discussion on slugs. My favorite of all the gastropods.
You have to have a favorite. Just don't tell the other gastropods.
That's right.
Exactly. I don't know what other gastropods there are. Snails?
Well, there's a project for you this week, Chris.
Okay. Snails and slugs and puppy dog tails. No, wait, that's not how it goes.
It's close.
He also said he should have mentioned that each time he stepped in the cow pie, it was with his right foot. He was quite consistent.
So it was a right-handed splorch.
Yeah, only had to clean one shoe that way.
Is the sound different if you use your left foot?
I don't know. Maybe Limax will have to go out and research that for us. Let us know.
Thank you.
Oh, I've got a Wikipedia article now to gastropods.
Oh, does it mention splorch?
Nope.
All right. Hey, while we're talking about hashtag FATAS items, there was one earlier.
On to snails and slugs.
There was one earlier. I'm not going to listen to you. There was one earlier from Team Finn that said hashtag FATAS. We got an FTF on the Where I Go that was published during the Mega.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
There you go.
Wait a minute. I don't know of that one.
Those guys are turning into real FTF hounds down there, eh?
Yes. I didn't do the FTF there. Or I'm sorry, the Where I Go.
No, you didn't.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Where I Go. Man, I missed a Where I Go. Now I got to go back up there.
I can't remember how we found out about it, but we did it. Brylang told us about it, and then we did it just before we left and headed down to Oregon.
Yeah, there were lots of people talking about it. It had to do with trivia questions about Where I Goes, wasn't it? The history of Where I Goes?
Yeah. Yeah, some of them are really obscure.
Yeah.
No, it was trivia questions about geocaching in general. 5 different categories. One of the categories was Where I Goes.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing with me, guys.
You're welcome.
Sorry, am I supposed to feel guilty?
No, not really.
Okay, good.
I know earlier on, and I think it was Team Finn asked if we did the T5 cache in Keechelis Lake.
Oh yeah, not this trip, but in the past.
No. Last year we did it.
2 years ago, I think. Land Monkey nearly drove to it.
That's right. That's when Land Monkey drove into a lake.
I try.
That's the only T5 cache I've ever walked to. Did you happen to get that one, Taz?
No, I haven't gotten that one, but I have walked to a T5 cache before.
Oh, there you go. So this one, there's a island. Okay, so you see the stumps out in off of I-90 there. That's Keechelis Lake. We call it Stump Lake. We didn't know what the name of it was for many years. It's also the reservoir, I want to say, for Tacoma. That's where we get our water. Anyway, this time of year, it's all dry, and you can walk out to the island, and there's a cache there. So it's a T5 cache because any other time of the year, you need a boat.
And that's how I got my T5. The walkout T5 cache was lake was dried up during. We had a couple of years of no rain or I should say, very little rain in Texas area, and dried it up and managed to walk out there. It was like, well, I got a bunch of other. I've got about probably close to 100 other T5 caches that were most of them were kayaking with gators.
Man, see, we don't get things like that in the Northwest.
No, we kayak with kayaks.
Yeah,
it's easier.
Yeah.
Well, kayak in a kayak with gators in the water.
Oh, okay, that's different.
I thought you were a real man and used a gator as a kayak.
Yeah, that's like a T10 or something.
Yeah, that also increases the difficulty level as well.
Yeah,
unnecessarily, but yet it increases. Oh,
is there one of those little attributes things that you can choose for?
There is no there is no attribute for gators or crocodiles.
There's dangerous animals. I guess that's as close as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. GeoNav Pro says we up here we kayak with whales, and they could be killer whales.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 3 Hams met up. 3 Hams, Brylang, and Catapult Jeff, and Bacon 49 met on top of the tunnel and found 2 new caches up there. Part of the route required a Jeep, which they had. Caches.
Sneaky.
Let's see.
So have any of you guys walked across the top? And how difficult is it to get the caches up there?
Last year I wanted to do a cache. It's right in the middle of the tunnel. It says checking for leaks in the roof of my cave. And we drove most of the way there. I think we had to walk the last quarter mile, maybe half mile. We were there with a guy in a brand new pickup, and he decided to drive there, and the road got narrower and narrower, and he ended up having to back out and put scratches on his new pickup.
So a rental car. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Land Monkey didn't like this topic, and
he just dropped off. Yeah, the hotel decided he'd been on the air long enough.
His data allotment has been used.
Apparently, yeah. And he even popped out of the document, so he must be completely offline.
Yep. Oh, let's see. There's a lot of good information here. Team Finn says there's an island near Everett. You can get a T5 terrain and all the difficulties. Yeah, so Brylang and Broncos fan both say you can drive to the top of the tunnel, and you can drive,
Okay.
You could drive right to that cache, but there's no place to turn around.
So next time I'm out there, I'll have to give that a shot.
Yeah, that was a fun one. We missed where we parked. There was a little like an emergency snow shelter that had a cache on it, but I was focused for the one we were going towards and never looked at the phone or GPS to see if there was one right there.
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll be doing a run on multi or something like that, or where I go, and I'll walk past 3 or 4, and it's like never even notice that they're there. And it's like afterwards I'm done. It's like I just walked by those. Damn it! Excuse my language. Ding, ding.
Now I got to go back. Yeah. So, Tracy from World Caching says, "How is it a 5.5 if it's easy?" Well, there's times it could be easy and times it could be difficult.
Yeah.
I think you base it on the times it's difficult. Let's see. 3 Hams says, while we were there on top of the tunnel, a car pulled over and asked us where the tunnel was. And I told them about 1,000 feet under your feet. Apparently Google Maps lied to them. Okay. That is funny.
Well, it's like someone looking for the leak in the roof cache while in the tunnel.
Yes, exactly.
Or someone looking for Dirty Fingers,
Bloody Fingers, Dirty Diapers.
Bloody Fingers, Dirty Diapers while on top.
Mm-hmm. You know, would that cache be approved today?
I think so. Well, if they have permission for hiding it.
If they have permission. Okay. Because you can't get decent coordinates on it.
But it has enough instructions in there with the quantity of niches or whatever on the side that you should be able to find where it's at. You have coordinates on how to get into the tunnel, and you have the details. You should be able to get there.
Okay. I understand, hiding in buildings or bunkers and different things, but this is a mile in.
Yeah.
Depends on your reviewer. How's that?
Exactly. Offset caches are still legitimate, says I am. I don't know if I want to know, 3 Hams, what the axe incident is. I think that sounds like maybe a geocache log of the week. You might need to send that in. Hey, folks, it's already after 10 o'clock local time here, and we should say good night. So, Taz, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wits End, as always, it's a pleasure. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.